Hello. Do you know why the children learn English for years but they cannot speak English very well? Do you ever see that there are some other students after 12 years of learning English, they still cannot speak English? Or they feel shy, or they cannot communicate with foreign people. And do you have this problem? You urge your children to learn English, but they don't want to. The reason is because they hate English. And one more thing. Do you know what are the obstacles that prevent your children to learn English well? In this video, I'm going to show you 5 secrets that can help you deal with the problem. And if you understand these secrets, you can help the children learn English very well, and they can speak fluently in just 1 or 2 years. The number 1 secret is that children should have a basic common words for conversation. Now I will play one MP3 file, and then you will listen and you will tell me what is this MP3 file about.
Water. There is a new attraction in China. A lot of people want to see it. There are people who do special things on the water. They stand on a long bamboo in a river. It's not easy. They need very good balance. It is like a dance, but it's a sport. This is an old thing, but it is popular. It's a traditional Chinese sport.
So, do you understand what is the fight, what is the topic is about? I guess you can understand some words, some common words like trainer or sports or traditional. But if you do not have enough basic common words, you cannot understand this video. Let's take one example. If you want to move from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh City by your motorbike, you have 2 methods of doing that. Number 1, you go up to 5 kilometers and then you add petrol. Then you go for further 5 or 10 kilometers and then you add petrol again. And you do it at the same way during the time you travel to Ho Chi Minh City. The second method is that you add your tank full of petrol and then you go directly right away from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh City. So, what is the better method? I believe that the second method will help you to go more effectively. And I believe that the same thing happened with learning English. If you want to learn English, you need to have a tank full of vocabulary, full of basic common words. But how many is enough? 5,000, 10,000, or maybe 30,000 words? Scientists believe that at least 1,000 common words is enough for your children to learn English for conversation. So the number 1 secret is that the children should learn and practice, master the list of 1,000 basic common words for conversation. And what is the number 2? Now, can you tell these words apart? File, fire, fine, and 5. If you do not have correct pronunciation, it would be really difficult for you to tell these words apart because somehow they have the same pronunciation. You apply your Vietnamese pronunciation to English pronunciation. Unfortunately, these methods are wrong because English pronunciation is totally different from Vietnamese pronunciation. That's the reason why you cannot hear and you cannot speak English correctly. If you have 1,000 or maybe 3,000 words for conversation, but you learn it incorrectly, you pronounce the words of 1,000 words, 3,000 words incorrectly. So what happened? It will be really difficult for you and even to try to learn English for conversation because you don't understand what the native speaker say, because they say in a different way than what you say and listen in Vietnamese. So my suggestion for you, when you want to teach your children at home, if you are not good at English, the better way is that you should not teach your children English at home. Instead, you should use some video online, maybe on YouTube, with the voice of native speaker to help your children have the correct pronunciation at the first time. And this is also the second secret. The children should have the correct pronunciation. Back to the MP3 file that I played in the previous secret. Why you cannot hear the story thoroughly? The reason is, many of you trying to translate from English to Vietnamese and then Vietnamese to English again. And what is the worst thing of this way? You try to translate the sentence number 1, but when you finish the number 1 sentence, the file play to the number 3 or maybe number 6, number 7 sentence, and you cannot understand the rest of the story. And if your children in this situation, what happened? When you give your children a picture, they will try to think in Vietnamese. What is the meaning of this picture in Vietnamese? And then they try to translate in English. And the same thing happened when the children have conversation with a native speaker. And the children is asked, what's your name in English? They will try to translate it to Vietnamese like tên bạn là gì, right? Okay, because they have the translation thinking in their mind. And then they try to think out the answer in English and then try to be applied to the native speaker again. But it's also a bad way because it makes your children slow in having a conversation with the foreigners. And that's the reason why, if you want the children to be good at English for conversation, you should not have this problem. You should not let your children to think and translate from Vietnamese to English. And this is the number 3 secret. And what is the number 4 secret? The children may master the list of 1,000 basic words. They may have good pronunciation. But what happens if they lack an environment to practice? They might learn a lot. Sure, they can learn a lot. Then they can master the list of 1,000 words and they can pronounce the words correctly. But if they lack of environment for them to practice how to use the list of words and how to pronounce continuously, the children might forget maybe 60-70% of what they learn, and it would be a waste of time, waste of energy, or waste of money. And normally it takes 1 year of learning English continuously to help their children to speak English fluently. And the number 5 is quiz to help their children learn English for conversation better, is that they should have the love for English. Traditional way of teaching English cannot do that. The children learn their new words only, and they also learn how to write down the words. And they learn in a very basic way. They just sit and write down, and it's really not attractive at all. It's not exciting at all. When learning a new language, we believe that the children should be inspired with the games and the movement. And the situation inspired us to create a 1-year course for the children to learn English for the whole year. This course will last for 12 months with 145 lessons, and the children will be in a totally English environment for 3 days per week, all in English. This course also helps the children to learn and use the list of 1,000 basic words for conversation. It also helps the children to learn English without translation because all the teachers speak in English. so that your children can hear and they try to follow the teacher in English all the time. After this course, your children can communicate in English fluently with the foreigners, and they can also learn in the dual language schools. And we understand that in a class there should not be so many students, because if there are so many students, the lesson will be less effective. That's the reason why the maximum students for one class in this one-year course is just 12 students. And this one-year course gonna happen at the end of this week. And if you want the children to join this course, just call to the hotline to reserve your seats. So thank you for watching this video.